Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. Dr. Jerome Corsi is here in studio with us, coming down here to work with InfoWars on the massive expansion we're about to engage in onto cable and satellite and a lot more. We're already on some cable and satellite systems, but massive expansion we're working on here pretty soon because America and the world is awakening. We've never had more listeners, never had more support. I want to thank you all for your prayers and your support, but we're expanding because the enemy is coming in like a flood. You have got thousands and thousands of newspapers, because I look at hundreds every day. Almost every paper in the country I've seen has had op-eds saying, kill Trump, organize his overthrow. Atlantic Monthly has just said, organize a military coup. We have seen Kathy Griffin, come out with her activity. We have seen countless other Hollywood producers and others say, absolutely, let's kill him. We've seen CNBC, an MSNBC host, come out and say we need ISIS to bomb Trump facilities, Trump Tower. This is calling for known terror groups to carry out attacks. This is aiding and abetting enemies. That's why I said 2 days ago, and Media Matters, run by the Democrats, and George Soros picked it up and said, Alex Jones says he's ready for Trump to move with military action. Dr. Jerome Corsi, former counterterrorism specialist, banking specialist, best-selling author, he was on when I said that. I don't want a coup. They're involved in the coup. An active attempt to start a bloody civil war. So in case you forgot, here's just a small snippet of some of the Democratic leaders recently and Hollywood people like Madonna saying, kill Trump, blow up the White House. Saying that on major platforms like it's acceptable, it's going to happen. So this is clearly directing terror attacks, just like when the leader of ISIS gets up on YouTube or gets up on the internet and says, run over people with cars, kill the infidels, go bomb them. They go out, they bomb. They go out, they shoot. They go out and run people over. When they said invade Europe 3 years ago as part of ISIS takeover, 3 million extra people came in, 80% military-age men. It's the same thing. We target ISIS with weapons. We target them with bombs. Well, when you've got the Democratic Party openly saying kill Trump supporters, attack their supporters in the streets with clubs, killing people, it is not the president's right. It is the president's duty and the Justice Department's duty to start arresting and indicting people. And if they want to go for a full civil war at that point, we got to call the army out in the street, ladies and gentlemen. And anybody running around burning stuff down or killing people needs to get a rocket-propelled grenade shot at them. And I'm not looking for a civil war, but if you come start one, we're going to kick your ass. Get that through your globalist, commie, traitor heads. We are ready to kick your ass. We know we're going to defeat you and Megyn Kelly. We're going to defeat the rogue CIA. We're going to restore the Republic. Already most of the CIA and the Pentagon are on our side. So if you people really want to start it with 50 million veterans and millions of people in our military who are almost all awake, good luck, SJWs, because you are reaping the wind. You're about to get the whirlwind. Right now, let's go to that 1-minute clip.
His wife said, well, he's a tough guy. He's not a tough guy. He's a bully and he's a bitch, and he can suck my and I'll meet him in a hotel room any other day of the week and give him a Louisville Slugger. Kiss my mother ass, you bitch punk sucker.
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
This the final call. This the final call.
Snoop Dogg killing the president. And then his nephew says, sex slaves. Kidnapped the president's wife and sex slave her. And then Kathy Griffin saying, let's kill Trump together. That's nothing compared to the plays, the movies, the TV shows. But remember, Kathy Griffin then came out last week and cried and said Trump broke her. She's just calling for mass violence. And then Trump called her despicable. And so that was bullying. When he called her pushing for his death and terrorizing his family, and Barron, who thought it was real, when he spoke out and called it disgusting, that was bullying. Let's play that clip.
And there's no mistaking that.
I don't think I will have a career after this. I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me.
Now let's talk about where this spin's going to go with Dr. Jerome Corsi, a psychological warfare expert and battling communists, Islamicists, you name it. Let's talk about what they're going to do. They're going to talk about Gabby Giffords being shot by a mental patient who was a Democrat, who was taking hallucinogens every day for years and had a satanic altar in his backyard and went and killed, shot some folks and wounded her because he was completely out of his mind. That's totally different than the Democrats everywhere. It'd be one thing if Republicans, back when Giffords got shot, were saying, go kill Congress people, go kill the president, go after Obama. And then it happened, you could try to pin it on Republicans. You can't do that because they weren't calling for it. The Democrats are frothing like Cujo with rabies to attack Trump supporters, to bully people, to fire people, to boycott people, to kill the president, to put his wife in sex slavery. So Giffords has now come out and said her heart is with my former colleagues. Well, great. Please then speak out against the Democrats calling for all of these attacks. Of course, Trump's come out and said Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana is a true friend and breaks down the fact that this is all a very, very serious tragedy. Again, let me read you the Trump quote if we can. We can pause that. I can. Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana is a friend, a true friend, a patriot, and was badly injured but will fully recover. Our thoughts and prayers are with him. We need Trump to tweet, this is Democrat-inspired terrorism directly caused by their organized, concerted effort to start a bloody civil war, which they're going to kick off. I mean, this is beyond war propaganda to launch the Spanish-American War in 1898 or the Gulf War of 2003. I mean, this is classic PR, major rollout, demonizing Trump, demonizing myself, lying about what we say, lying about what we stand for, saying things we never said. A full court press, as Dr. Corsi said Monday, they're preparing a civil war, probably in July. They're preparing everybody for Trump to be assassinated, and they're preparing to try to trigger mass shootings that will make the Republicans roll over in fear, and mass shootings of police under strong cities, hoping they roll over with Black Lives and Soros and others openly pushing this, saying, you give in to us and you do what we want, or we're going to activate through the media, through the hype, more mentally ill people and more Black Lives Matter to come kill you. And you watch, you're going to see a bunch of cops get killed now. They've activated. They've activated. You're going to see more politicians and more Republicans shot. I've got to have, security. It's on, ladies and gentlemen. So they've rewritten the rules of succession to kill Trump or overthrow him and to remove all Republicans elected in the last election. This is the official Democratic Party through the elite Atlantic Monthly. They're also saying it in New Yorker magazine. Deep state moles, continuity of government plan to overthrow Trump. They mean business. They are a foreign multinational force. Now, Dr. Corsi literally wrote the book, not just his other #1 New York Times bestsellers, but wrote the book on NAFTA and GATT and TPP, IMF, World Bank, world government. Lou Dobbs, he was one of Lou Dobbs' top advisors. Lou Dobbs, a great hero, had top ratings at CNN, even better than, O'Reilly had when he got fired. Fired because he was leading the charge against globalism and the end of the country. They may have fired him, but still, we all owe Lou Dobbs a round of applause for the success with TPP, the Paris, and everything. But Corsi was at the tip of the spear and still is, exposing globalism. Trump's great crime is pulling us out of it. So these foreign multinationals are working with Islamicists, leftist, communists, the same ones I saw attacking our reporters this weekend in Austin, preparing a massive... Folks, I never saw communists on the street hardly in my life, except in, like, New York. I see them everywhere now in Austin. They have attacked our crew repeatedly. They're all over the country. They're activating. They're getting ready for their big move. You've been totally on target, Dr. Corsi. You're with us till the bottom of the hour, next hour, when other guests join us. But I just want listeners to know, I'm a little bit, upset here because... We told you it was all coming. We've studied history. We've studied the globalists. We've studied how they foment the Arab Spring and other civil wars, how they tried to overthrow Russia. We're not saying Russia's perfect, but the same globalists have been trying to overthrow Russia. They're trying to overthrow us, okay? So the only Russia connection is we're under attack by the same dirtbags. Dr. Corsi.
Well, I mean, first of all, let's put it in context. When 1960, when Jack Kennedy won, Richard Nixon said, well, we might have lost the election by vote fraud in Illinois, but I'm not going to contest it. And that was all fair. It was easy to let it go. Now what happened is get to 2000. And Al Gore says, no, I'm going to contest it in the courts. What we got to realize is that these Democrats have now gone completely over to the other side. They're off the cliff. They're Marxists.
They're beyond over the cliff. They are frothing terrorists.
Yes,
I mean, for real.
Well, and they're going to use violence.
They've gone right to the Saul Alinsky, right to the Bill Harris playbook. They have completely embraced it.
What you have here...
This is Austin this weekend.
You have a failure of the Democratic Party to accept the legitimacy of an election in which Donald Trump was elected. The Democratic Party is going to obstruct. They're going to use violence. They're going to use riots. They're going to use Soros-funded thugs. The inauguration was the beginning of this, which was violent activity, breaking windows, assaulting people who wanted to go into the inauguration. This is in the streets now.
And we have Newsweek and Time saying a case for rioting, and the Huffington Post saying get violent. Aren't these people going to get held accountable who are calling for organized crime?
Well, what they're going to do is the deep state and the left, the Democrats are going to blame Trump for this. They're going to say it's all Trump's fault. It's because of Trump's policies. And Trump, look, they were right at the edge of having globalism take over, to have an Islamic State on the way to be created in the United States. If Hillary had won, we would have seen massive, massive eliminations of freedom. First Amendment would have been under
because
risk.
She's a villain. They get off on this.
And it's at the heart of the Democratic Party. Everybody's got to understand this is not the Democratic Party of Jack Kennedy. This is the Democratic Party. It's a Maoist party. It's basically thugs. It's basically funded by Soros. And it's out there in the streets to win power through a civil war. What they're going to do is you're going to see an uptick now of violence. This is just beginning. And Donald Trump at the White House has got to realize this. He's in this for his life, in it also for the future. If there's any future for the Republic, Donald Trump has got to start using the enormous powers of the presidency. First of all, Jeff Sessions yesterday, they didn't get Jeff Sessions. The Democrats were gunning for him, and Jeff Sessions outsmarted them. So now they're going to up the ante. They want the special prosecutor. We've got Mueller. He's hiring a whole bunch of Democrats in there who are going to be Hillary, people who donated to Hillary. These are people who hate Trump.
And we're going to get back into that in a minute. But Dr. Corsi, we're not just saying this. We've been telling everybody this is coming. That's why they hate us. That's why InfoWars is public enemy #1, because they know. Let's get Matt Bracken on today, by the way, guys. They know that we know their battle plan, and it totally freaks them out that we've laid it all out before they even laid it out. And so we've got to stop them. This is a clear and present danger. This is mainstream media organizing mass murder criminally. I mean, what does the president do? He has to move against these people.
Okay, first of all, you've got it started with a propaganda campaign. The idea was to begin by saying, look, the Russians stole the election. Well, now that meme is gone, because it's obviously clear there's no evidence that the Russians did anything. It was Hillary and Podesta who were working and being paid by the Russians. They're not going to be investigated. We've got a politicized Department of Justice that will not investigate the obvious crimes of Hillary, Podesta, the Democrats, Solyndra. The list.
So they're going to move on to civil unrest, and they're going to move on to obstruction of justice of a non-crime.
Okay, now what President Trump's got to do, he's got to realize that, first of all, this is a war, and it's going to be a civil war, and it's going to be violent. So the powers of the presidency have to be exerted. First of all, Donald Trump's got to say, no more hearings. That's it. No more hearings. We're done with the hearings.
And he has to start arresting some of the moles in the government that have been leaking under sedition. If he can link them to foreign combines, not just governments, he has to use those acts of espionage, because this is globalism. So if they're on a corporate board and are trying to sell the country out, it's just like working for the Chinese. He needs to start arresting them.
Well, and also, I mean, get a control. Fire Priebus. You've got a whole bunch of the GOP elite. Priebus's meal ticket is the donors to the Republican National Committee. It's Ryan, McConnell. He doesn't care if Trump goes down. He's got a job. Get rid of Priebus and clean out all of throughout the administration, people who've had jobs with Obama.
But what does he do if they're learning if he learns they're preparing a physical coup, which they're openly priming the public for,
Right.
he's got to move. I mean, he's got to move against these criminals.
The first step is to get a hold of his own house and to put an end. No more hearings. That's done. Special prosecutor, pardon General Flynn. And that's the end of the special
And let's remember, because the Clintons pardoned a bunch of people, and the Clintons wouldn't go to hearings, and Loretta Lynch wouldn't go to hearings, and Susan Rice wouldn't go. None of these people would go to hearings. Why is Trump's people going to hearings?
It should stop it right now. So that's it. There's no evidence that Russian meme. That's done. We're not going to talk about that anymore. Obstruction of justice. President's got to say, look, I had the full authority to tell the Department of Justice what to do. Full authority to fire Comey. Full authority to inquire about an investigation. Full authority to start or stop an FBI investigation. This nonsense of obstruction of justice does not apply.
I agree with you, but we're going to break. What does he do now when Black Lives Matter, funded by Soros and others, are openly saying kill cops? That's racketeering. That's organized crime. That is preparing murder one. We cannot put up with this and their intimidation anymore. It's time to move.
And start by criminal prosecutions and investigations of people who threaten the presidency or threaten violence.
It's a good start with this winner loser. You know, this little commie, crazy Taliban chick. I hope they throw her under the prison.
And 100 more. There's plenty of them. They got to go after the leakers. They got to go after anybody who threatens violence. It's a crime. It's got to be put to an end.
And by the way, folks, everybody knows I don't like a police state. We're going to have a communist police state on us if we don't do this. America is fighting for its life. The president needs to move with force. I will back it.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.